Hello, 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 and welcome to Speak Your Truth, Tell Your Story, where we celebrate the entrepreneurial spirit. I'm your host, Mindy Coletta of Ladybug Junction Farm, where humans and animals have a safe space to speak their truth and tell their story. Well, as a solopreneur for years, I love to celebrate other solopreneurs who serve the world in a big way, and especially from the heart. So today, it's my privilege to introduce to you my guest and friend, Eilis Philpott. Hello, Eilis.
Hi, how are you?
I am great, and I'm so glad you're here today. And I'm happy to be. Yes, and I'm so happy to be celebrating your entrepreneurial spirit and learning more about what you do and why you do it, and who you are. I want to know who you are. So let me read the bio that you supplied for me, and let's get a little bit better acquainted with you. Eilis is the owner of Soul Healing Journey, LLC, and has been a healing practitioner for 20 plus years. She is one of 2 teachers approved by Linda Dillon and the Council of Love to teach the 13th octave, La Ho Chi.
There you go.
Thank you, I did it. She's a certified soul language practitioner, a certified rebirther, having completed rebirthing and advanced rebirthing training, and is certified in Akashic field therapy practitioner. She is a Reiki master and has received extensive training in many other healing modalities. And so we're going to be talking a lot about those.
Okay.
She helps people understand who they are at a soul level. Using various modalities, she supports them in clearing those patterns that are preventing them from expressing themselves at that core level. And with this healing, she helps her clients attain a level of deep peace that they have not experienced in this lifetime. Each session with Eilis is unique healing opportunity, as she is divinely guided as to how to proceed in order that her clients always receive the highest healing available to them at the time. The result is a powerful, synergistic healing for anyone who wants to live their true, authentic life. Wow. That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's been gathering over the years.
Yeah. So I think that my first question that I always ask people is, if you could put a title on your passion or your curiosity, what fuels you, what would that be? And I read on your website about your personal story, and I think that passion has something to do with that. So could you tell us a little bit about your story and your passion?
Sure. Okay, so let's go back in time to when I was in my 20s. So that's a little while ago now. And you mentioned my personal story. So I have described on my website how I experienced having severe depression and anxiety. So and an anxiety disorder. And grew up in Ireland, and there wasn't a lot of treatment options available in those days. And I got so ill that I ended up in a psychiatric hospital. So spent a number of months there, was sent home, but not really having been treated adequately. A few years later, I moved to London to be with my now husband, and ended back up in a psychiatric hospital again with major depression and anxiety. And for the first time started receiving treatment. And in those days, the treatment was just traditional psychotherapy, which I had not experienced before. And it was a journey. It was intense. And what I discovered was that I was able to have a part of me be the observer. So there was a part of me, even though I was going through this intense therapy and healing and clearing and a lot of very intense emotions that I had blocked and not felt ever before. So I was feeling all those feelings, but there was that part of me that was able to say, oh my God, this is so interesting. So since then, I've been fascinated with the why behind everything. So what I discovered is through my own personal work and then working with clients subsequently is that there is always a reason why. We never have to give ourselves a really hard time. There's always something going on, and we're always exactly where we're meant to be at that time. And as I healed and grew and moved on from therapy and then got into alternative therapy and healing techniques, it's just fascinated me. And the passion has been my own journey, and then being the witness to other people going through their journey. So that's my passion.
Yes, and that is always it, isn't it? It's always something that you've been through that you want to share with other people.
Right.
That you want to help them not to have to go through so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And being able to be in a place to get, even if you haven't had the exact same experience, you know what the feelings are like. It's being able to support from a place of understanding.
Yeah. Okay, you said you went more towards the holistic stuff.
Right.
Was there a reason for that?
Yeah, when I was living in England at that stage, I had been going to traditional doctors, and after being so ill, had discovered that I still didn't feel good. I still didn't feel great. So emotionally, I was doing a lot better. I'd gone back to college. I'd finished my education, got a master's in education, started teaching, but still didn't feel good. And I'd go to the doctor and they'd say, "You're fine. There's nothing wrong with you." So that's when I started exploring holistic or alternative health. So the very first modality I ever did was shiatsu, and fairly quickly followed by homeopathy. Or not homeopathy, acupuncture, I should say.
Okay.
So I did acupuncture for a full year while I was living in England, and got pregnant with my son and had my son. And then we moved to America. Not after a year, but we moved to America fairly soon. And I knew that I was going to America to get well. And I knew that I wanted to do something alternative, and I didn't know what it was. But they were the two things I absolutely knew getting on that plane that day we moved to America. So, yeah.
So what was the first thing that you went into when you got here?
The first modality that I experienced over here was rebirthing.
Okay, tell me about that.
Yeah. And it was interesting. Now looking back, I can see I'm the eldest of 9 children.
Oh.
So my mom was always pregnant. There were always babies in the house.
Yeah.
And then when I was in England, I taught high school science, biology. And it's a Catholic school, a mixed Catholic school. And nobody wanted to teach reproduction and sex because it was a Catholic school and they were kind of taboo subjects.
You should be doing the rhythm method, right?
Right. So they said, "Do you want to teach sex and reproduction?" So I said, "Yeah, absolutely." So I taught everybody in the school sex and reproduction. So again, was in that energy of birth and reproduction and sex and all that good stuff. And I couldn't understand why the other teachers didn't want to teach it, because it was one of the few classes that all the kids actually stayed quiet and listened to what you were saying.
Oh, this is interesting. Let's listen.
Yeah, exactly. So I've been in that energy all my life. And then came here, found a rebirther fairly quickly, started having rebirthing sessions as a client and just loved it. And then over the years, did small workshops and supported her in her workshops. And at the time, the rebirthing world was going through a shift. So there weren't a lot of official trainings around at that stage, which now that I can see that it was actually perfect, because it gave me a good 2 years of just receiving. And then the two main teachers, Bob and Mally Mandel, who are international teachers of rebirthing, happened to live in Connecticut and happened to come out of retirement in '96 and teach a class that year, which both my husband and I took. And then the following year, I did the advanced rebirther training. So the rebirthing was a 9-month program, and then and then it's like they don't teach that anymore. It's literally they came out for 2 years and class, and it was obviously meant to be. So my practice started in 96 as just plain rebirthing, which is a breathing technique.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about what that is.
Sure.
I think it's a sex class, since we just talked
Yeah,
about that.
it's not about sex per se.
Okay.
So originally rebirthing was discovered by a guy called Leonard Orr, and what he discovered was that while he was doing this particular type of breathing, he was having birth memories. And he realized that if you were able to heal these birth memories or birth trauma, that a lot of other things in your life fell into place. So in the 90s, when I was training, there is a society called the Pre and Perinatal Psychology and Health Association. And they've been doing a lot of research into prenatal conception, in utero, and birth, and the impact that that has on people. And it's kind of only now is it beginning to come into the forefront that this pivotal developmental time for people is hugely impactful on their life. So when I was doing the training, it had started to move from just looking at birth to looking at conception, a lot of in utero experience, because you're in utero for 9 months developing and growing. So a lot of that time, birth, obviously, and then the first year afterwards. So then I started my practice and had clients, and over the years realized that the gift of rebirthing, or the breathing technique, is that you are healing all 4 energy bodies. So you're healing physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And what comes up is not necessarily birth related. It's not necessarily early related. There is always a link back somehow, but as long as you're healing the issue and the trauma that's held on the cellular level or in the energetic bodies, it doesn't matter whether it's birth related or not. I've seen clients who are having past life memories. A few people do have birth memories, and lots of stuff from this lifetime that people are healing as well. So that I always, with all the modalities that I've learned over the years, I still always go back to the breath, because it is so powerful in accessing information.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah, it is. Obviously, I'm fascinated by it. I still love it.
Yeah, and so what are the results that your clients get from that? What did they tell you?
There was, let me think. There's a period of time where I had a lot of clients who had been sexually abused. And so we're obviously having difficulty with their relationships and having a hard time. And most of those clients healed a lot of that and were able to carry on and change their careers or start new relationships. So the goal is to get to a place of living your life from inner peace and from contentment, and knowing who you are and what you're doing, and seeing the external results of the internal shifts that have happened.
Right. Awesome.
So yeah, so just, lots of things depending on why they've come. Yeah.
And I know that you mix that up even in some of the other things that you do, right? You might use the breathing or the rebirthing, and then you might use another thing in with that. So tell us a little bit about, the next question is, how does that play out in all that you bring to the world? And so tell us a little bit about the other things that you do that kind of pull it all together. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so you mentioned at the beginning, so I do rebirthing, I do Akashic field therapy. I added soul language as the newest modality that I've added, and I teach a workshop called 13th Octave Laho Chi. So up until maybe last year, it's like I didn't fully see the picture of how all these different modalities connected. But I always knew that the name of my business always had the name soul in it, S-O-U-L, soul. So on some level, I knew it was soul healing. And then when I did soul language training this year, or beginning of the year, it put all the pieces together for me.
Oh.
So I was able to see that all the modalities I'm offering are a soul level healing. And so even though they appear differently, they're all serving the same function. They're all getting to the same end point. And what I was guided to do was to come up with a package that incorporates all the modalities. And the package is called Passion, Peace, and Purpose. So soul language is the piece where you find out who you are on a soul level, why you're here, what your mission is, what your soul personality is. So that's one of the sessions. And then the other sessions are to clear what's getting in the way of you living passionately your purpose and living in peace while you're living passionately your purpose. So depends on the client, but the trend tends to be 2 rebirthing sessions and an Akashic field therapy session. So that package is 4, and then if people need any more, then we discuss and see what feels appropriate for each person as they go forward.
Okay.
So that's kind of how they meld together.
Yeah, and so is it for entrepreneurs, or is it for anyone, or?
Yeah, for anyone.
Yeah.
Anyone. Yeah.
Well, that's cool, because they everybody needs to know why they're here. Everybody wants to know why they're here and what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Even
knowing what you're doing, it's like then the next step is finding out why you're not doing it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So it's like, what's getting in the way of you doing your purpose? Because even when you know what your soul language is, there's consciousness and unconsciousness about that soul language. So are you living in alignment with who you are on a soul level, or have you got stuff in the way, which is when you're living it unconsciously? So the soul language session is just the starting point of then clearing what's in the way and moving forward.
Yeah, and one of my, I took the first little 15-minute session with Jennifer.
Oh, okay.
And mine came out to be speak, space, and truth. And that's one reason why this program, the podcast is called that, is Speak Your Truth, Tell Your Story, because I'm supposed to be finding my own truth, speaking my own truth, telling my own story, and then giving a safe space for other people to do that as well.
And you do a brilliant job.
Oh, well, thank you. I love doing this. And see, this is the point. When you don't love what you do, you're going to have all kinds of excuses of why you're not doing it.
Yeah.
Hiding out, and that kind of thing. And so this whole thing of finding out, I love the soul language program. I haven't done it yet, but I've heard a lot about it. I got the book. I think I went through almost every page of the book that night, but just knowing that is so helpful. And actually, I've heard, I've been entrepreneurial for most of my life, but a lot of my friends have told me, it's so hard to go out and market yourself, because, it's so, they weren't aligned with who they really were. Right. But once they do that, it comes out like every day, I mean, it's just like telling someone, oh, I found this dress, and you have to look at this dress. I mean, it might even look good on you, I mean, you can't quit talking about it, right?
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, and so it's so much easier to put it out to the world when you're so excited about it and you can't shut up, right?
Exactly, yeah. I totally agree with you.
And people really want to purchase from people who are excited about what they do. They don't want someone go to someone and say, hey, what do you do? Well, I do this, but, I don't think it's really going to help you. That's not going to sell too well. Yeah. And really, it's not even what you should be doing if you aren't excited enough about what you do. And I can feel your passion in that. And especially what has come through your whole entire life. And then, what you were healed from is what is coming forth for other people. So exciting. So what else do you want to share? What else is there?
What I'm thinking is where my Yes, let me start again.
Okay, start over.
When you do soul language, there's your personal soul language, but you can also do your business soul language.
Oh, yes.
Your business soul language is what you've called into you to support your personal soul language on your journey on the planet.
Okay.
So my business soul languages are helped me connect a lot of the pieces with this. So mine are that I'm a peacemaker, that I'm a teacher and a shepherd. So kind of gathering all my people together, teaching them what they need to do, and then getting them to a place of peace, which, like we both said, is that you have to find your own whatever it is that you're here to do.
Yeah.
So for me, peacemaker was one. It was my soul language that I worked with very, very consciously, and not that I don't work with the other ones, but there was a period where I worked with that one consciously too. I thought, how can I teach peace to other people if I haven't attained that level of peace myself? So I definitely spent a period of time where I would be out walking every day and kind of use walking as part of my meditation time, and just pulling in peace and pounding out through my feet anything that was not serving and being of peace. And so it was in that period of time that I came up with this package: passion, peace, and purpose. Because I think I believe, I know that we have to, as healers, practitioners, solopreneurs, we have to have experienced and learned what it is that we're trying to teach or trying to impart to other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the teaching part comes in with the 13th octave Lao Chi.
Okay.
Which the 13th octave Lao Chi is a weekend workshop that I run. It's originally started off as two separate, not even modalities, but two separate workshops. So Lao Chi was a hands-on technique that was, it had been on the planet before and it was lost and it came back again. So in 1991, Lao Chi was introduced back to us on the planet. And then around a similar time, Linda Dillon, who channels the Council of Love, was told that as a human race, we are ready to open the doorway to join with Source. So in other words, we could go and join with God, live in union without having to die and leave the planet. But they both came about separately by different people and different groups of people. And then in the early 2000s, Linda was guided that they were to join. So, which is why it has such a long kind of complicated.
Okay.
So it became the 13th octave Lao Chi.
Okay.
So it became a modality for creation and for healing. So it's creation of the new earth, creation of the new man or the evolved man. And it's like our next stage in evolution for healing and creation on the planet. So some people use it and they use it as their own new practice if they're starting off. Some people add the energies to what they're already doing. And then some people just experience the energy. Part of what I teach is that even if you never consciously use the energy, you have been initiated into, you've received the initiation, so you have changed internally. And the expression of my presence is enough means that you just have to walk into a room to have an impression and to support people in that room with you. So part of the change was that there was a lot of the ascended masters are adding energy and gifts, that the archangels got some of the saints. It's like a lot of higher guidance and support in the process. So it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, even the name of it I resonated with.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh, I really like that.
Yeah, it's one of those things, you see it and you kind of know it's like, okay, I'm meant to do that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of in a nutshell what I'm doing.
Oh, that is awesome. Okay, let's see. What else do we have here? Well, I know that you, okay, as you do individual sessions,
Yeah.
in person and remotely. So some people think, well, I don't live anywhere near her, you know, but it doesn't matter anymore today. We can
Right.
do it from anywhere. And you would also do those groups of classes, workshops, and events.
Yes.
What do you have going on like right now?
I have a 13th Dr. Lahochi workshop coming up in December in Norwalk, in Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
So that's coming up I just did one at the beginning of September, like 2 weeks ago. No, it couldn't have been the beginning. It was quite recently, about 2 weeks
Yeah,
ago.
it was sometime in September because I remember you.
Right. So I just did that one. The one's coming up in December. I'm in the process of firming up dates and locations for next year. So some people want me to travel there and do the workshop there, and that's what I'm looking for.
You weren't doing that before, though.
No.
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 So this isn't something new. You're going out. You're
Yes.
going
Yes.
out.
Yes. The masters are saying spread the energy.
Spread the energy.
That's what I'm doing. So yeah, that's the groups, and then as you said, I have individual sessions. So some people come here and have individual sessions in my office here.
Oh, okay.
And some sessions you can do over phone and like Zoom, like we're doing today. So you can healing sessions online. At first, I was a bit skeptical and a bit nervous, but I got a friend to volunteer and say, let me just try this and see how it feels. And I was surprised that it felt just the same as if somebody was in the same room.
Mm-hmm.
It was a pretty positive experience. So distance isn't a factor.
Right. I've heard that from a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, exactly. And these days we have so much information on the quantum physics level that is, again, scientifically proven. My science background plays in every now and again.
Yeah.
Scientifically proving what it is that we know in this world already.
Mm-hmm.
That's been a great validation as well.
Right. So is there anything that you want to leave with our audience today?
I think it's something about love, and many of us, if not all of us, have not learned how to love and nurture ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So many of us have not learned how to love ourselves at all, and definitely most people have not learned how to love themselves unconditionally. And that is, I believe, the key of everything that we're doing. It's coming to a place of knowing that you are the most precious, wondrous being that ever existed.
Mm-hmm.
And that once you can allow yourself to feel that and to know that, it's like the world is your oyster.
Mm-hmm.
You're perfect, you're doing the perfect thing, in the perfect thing, in the perfect time. And when we truly get that, it makes sense.
That's beautiful. That's a great thing to leave this on. I love that. So what I'm going to do is all of your links, your website. I think you gave me your Facebook page, email, all that stuff.
Okay.
Will be in below the video. So that everybody, and I will be putting out your bio on there and everything else. So everything will be there that they would need to know, and how to get in touch with you.
Right. And I'm looking forward to hearing from everybody and supporting them and finding their place of self-love.
Yes, this is awesome. I love even the name of your website, which is Soul Healing Journey. That even just sounds calming and blissful.
Thank you.
So thanks for listening, everyone. And until next time, what I leave everyone with is speak your truth, tell your story, and do what you love every single day. And I feel like if you do that, you're doing pretty well. Well, thank you, Eilis, for being with me today. It's been such a pleasure. And I look
Thank you
forward.
for hosting, Mindy, and for
Uh,
speaking your truth and making space for other people to speak their truth.
oh, thank you. Yeah, and I even want to do that for animals
Yeah, absolutely.
and helping them tell their story.
A bunch of my clients ended up, two of them became pet psychics, and another one trains on it, like completely changed their career. So
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to unfold.
Animals have their story, right? And sometimes they don't want the story told that they've been through. You know, like, do we have to talk about that again? You know?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that we'll be doing at the farm is, you know, making a book for every animal that we adopt.
Yeah.
So that every animal is telling the story they really want to tell. And as we get to know them and work with them and everything, we'll be able to put that information together.
Yeah, and they love the La Ho Chi energy.
They do. Okay, great. Maybe we need to talk about that more.
Oh, there you go.
Maybe that's why you said to me about one time. I
know it's funny, you know. It's like I'm always being nudged. Contact so and so. I was like, oh, okay. So trying to do the work I'm doing and kind of marketing at the same time, which is not my strong point. And then listening to guidance and doing what they're telling me to do.
Isn't that how we met? It was well, through a group, of course. So groups are always great to get into for solopreneurs. But yeah, I think we PM'd each other, and you said something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you said something about that new.
Yeah, I can't remember the details, but reaching out.
Well, thank you so much, and I will see you on Facebook.
I will see you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.